So we finally have news that the upcoming banner for the global servers will be Thief. Uh, this unit, I cannot stress this enough, is gonna be the biggest banner that will come out in global, at least for the next half a year in my opinion, right? Because unlike previous units, stuff like ID, stuff like CF, Freya, all of that, right? Those units, they have their little niche. They work in one area, they may not work too well in other area. They're sort of like situational units that you cannot fit everywhere, right? With Thief, let me tell you, she is able to work in any dungeon, any team, any composition that you think of. She works solo, she can do well by herself, she can do well in any team. There's literally not a single team where she will not work well. Well, maybe except with Freya, because Freya just directly nerfs her damage, right? But for any other scenario, wherever you encounter, Thief will be one of the top units that you can use for her. So I cannot stress this enough on why you should be summoning at least a few copies, because even until today, in the Korean servers, she is gonna be by far the most influential unit. All of the units that have come out so far, I think there have been like at least 10 or more units that came out after the Thief. None of them come even close to the strength of her. So not only will she be extremely OP, but she will also be amazingly future-proof, right? So we're gonna be testing her out today. This is currently the build that I have on her. So she's level 220. She rocks at around 250,000 power. She has 26,000 attack for me. These are the badges. Essentially, the second and third badge are all about ultimate damage. The first three are ultimate damage boosting percentages, right? Skills maxed to the point where I can, right? So basically the passive is fully maxed, active skills are fully maxed. I unfortunately do not have level 2 to 1 yet, so I'm not able to max ultimate to level 4. So she's maxed for her level, right? For gears, I'm running full LR set, 4 of them are upgraded to max, and I have a 19% ultimate damage boost on this one as well. For this one, we're at level 8 at the moment. LR4 would be the next upgrade. She's currently LR3 for me. So yeah, I definitely invested quite a bit in her. She's by far like the strongest unit that I have at the moment. And we're gonna test her out as always in the data tower. We're gonna test her out in PvP, and we're gonna test her out against the guild boss. Let's go. And because I know that she is so OP that she will quite literally fit into any team, I'm just gonna run a montage of her absolutely dominating a couple of data tower levels.
This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon.
Yeah, you better listen. I'm bringing heat. You'll be a fan when I start rapping. Way I'll have your fucking head spinning. I'm known as spit vicious. Release bombs and go tick tick. Boom, you blown me that head missing. I'm a phenomenon.
Okay, so I hope you are excited to see her damage a little bit more. As always, secondly, we are gonna test it out in PvP, right? And for PvP, as always, we are testing in one of the new modes that are currently not out in global. So in this one, every time the weekly arena rankings are up, you will have a fight against the top 10 people that have placed in your server. However, their levels will be adjusted to yours to make the battle a little more fair, right? So this one is pre-recorded. So we're gonna do a couple of fights. First off, we're gonna fight against the rank 10 user. I believe I do change the team a little bit. Let me quickly see. I wanted to sort of see the max damage potential that she can do. So I believe I'm going with this. I'm just placing Rachel in her spot, right? So what we're gonna be using is Ileana, We're gonna be using Thief and Rachel, which are pretty much stable picks on my channel by now, if you have noticed. We're gonna be using Frederica, and I'm also built Comet. So she is one of the newer supports as well, and what she does is she buffs the highest attack unit in your team by a bunch, right? And also, if she is the only support on the team, she gives even more additional damage buffs, right? So we're gonna fighting a pretty standard team on the enemy side. We have Iliana, Marilite, Comet, Echidna, and I forgot what her name is, the little priest chick or whatever, Claudia, I believe. So this one pretty standard team. I'm going full PvP team into full PvP team, right? I'm not gonna be testing it with just the Thief, right? With PvP you do have to bring one of the strongest teams, right? So Rachel goes in the back, we're waiting for the Thief's ultimate. And yeah, let's just check how much damage she can do, right? Thief almost killed Claudia, I believe, and Thief drops the box, enemies at 65% HP, and it wipes it out to around 20%. She currently has around 2 million damage from that single hit. Absolutely ridiculous, one shot pretty much everything. And yeah, as I say, Thief, it's sort of a unit where whoever gets the first ultimate off, like, whether it's, yeah, if we look at the damage, 1.7 million, like, absolutely ridiculous. The battle usually ends on whoever gets the first ultimate off, especially before you get units like Echidna, who have a little bit more sustain to your whole team. So yeah, this battle was perfect. There is 4 dead units, and Thief counters that element super well. So yeah, this one is gonna be an absolute vibe. What I wanted to do is I wanted to take out Rachel just so we only have 2 damage dealers. Frederica is a good damage dealer, but she's not my main damage dealer. So in this one I just placed a random dark unit. I believe my Mia is not even like, she doesn't have any skill up, she doesn't have any equipment or anything like that. I place her purely because she's the dark element. And let's just wait for Thief damage, and you'll just see the magic happen. Look at that, 95% HP, and everyone's down to 55. So she did 40% of the whole enemy HP. Like, if you look at the health bars right there, look what she did. Madelite dropped her by like 60%, dropped ID by like what, 80%. This one, who is that exactly? I believe that's the enemy Rachel. Dropped the enemy Rachel by 80% as well. Like, absolutely, that was before the Comet buff. That was before Comet buffed up her damage abilities. It potentially could have been a one-shot, right? So yeah, absolutely insane unit. We're just letting Frederica finish off the Madelites, and she's a support, she won't be able to do much. We're gonna check the damage charts. Those look absolutely insane. I mean, when you wipe 40% of the HP, like, look at this. Equal with Frederica, although I'll give credit to Frederica. She was the one who finished off the fight, so she definitely helped out a bit there. But the main nuke was from Thief. Now, this one, I actually lost. Later on, I won. What I didn't realize is this was actually my defense. So I was fighting myself here because I placed rank 8 in the last rotation, and this was the older team that I've used. So okay, another attempt. I forgot how this one ended, whether I was the one who won or not. So the enemy Rachel actually focused on my Thief, but I believe she will not be able to kill it before I use one ultimate. I'm spamming the ultimate. Yeah, I use one ultimate, 97% HP on the enemies and down to 50. So half of the HP in total was wiped. I believe she may have one-shot like 2 units. Drop another ult. Unfortunately, this one didn't do too much damage, looks like. But yeah, I mean, and the thing about Thief, right? She doesn't only provide damage, she provides so much utility as well. First of all, every time she drops the box, if you notice, that box will taunt enemies. Let me see if I can find it. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't because both of the units are stunned. But yeah, that box will actually taunt all units, which means that they will lose focus on anyone who they have been hitting for them. On top of that, she has an amazing escape, because when she drops, I believe, to 30% HP, yeah, look at the damage. Look at my Thief and look at the defense. Thief. Both of them are annihilating the opponents, right? And look at that damage tank. See, this is what I mean by the box being able to taunt everything. 2 million damage. If you drop the box at the correct moment, except for example when the enemies are about to like ult or something like that, they are gonna absorb a massive amount of damage, right? Because whatever the box absorbs, no one receives that damage, right? It's just like enemies do damage to the box and the damage is gone. No one takes damage from your team, everyone's safe, right? And yeah, we're gonna test out against this one, full bikini party as you can see. Pretty standard team again, pretty much the same thing as I'm running, just we have a Hidna instead of the Rachel. And yeah, we're gonna start the fight. Again, I already forgot how this one ended, but this will be the last fight that we do for today when it comes to PvP. After this, we're gonna jump to some guild boss and try it out there as a single DPS attacker. So for this one, I can see that my energy regen has been impacted quite a bit. Unfortunately, okay, Combat did manage to get a buff. Rachel moves the backline, Radhika does a little bit of a pop, and enemies are 40%, the box drops them to 20%, so again, half of HP has been reduced, right? I believe this one was a win. If we look at the damage charts, I believe the enemy thief has done a lot of damage as well. I'm gonna skip this one. Again, like trying to focus Ilyana at the end is very painful, as you can see. It takes forever to kill. This is what an actual tank is. None of that Eidos bullshit, none of that like, who else do people use? Snopril or whatever, right? Like this is a proper tank unit, right? Look how hard it is to kill. 3v1, 2 top tier damage dealers. Took me a minute to beat a single tank, right? But yeah, let's look at the damage. Let's look both my thief as well as the enemy thief, and we'll jump into the guild array. Yeah, damage charts, my thief, destruction, enemy thief, absolute destruction. No one even stands a chance. Okay, so for the guild boss, I'm gonna try out the regular team a bit later on. For this one, I wanted to build a fun team, right? Because I know that Thief is able to do a lot of damage by herself, right? So what I did is I basically placed a tank in the corner right there. I placed Thief in the backline and I gave her 3 top tier supports. Shale in the same row, so she can keep buffing her attack. I gave Comment, who will buff the highest attack unit, and I gave her Madelite, who will be buffing the ultimate damage of a row behind her, right? So single damage dealer. Usually for this boss I do around 20 to 30 million damage. I don't really try to like build any specific teams, honestly. I just bring my strongest units, right? And luckily Thief is one of them, so we will see that Thief in here is able to just do insane amounts of energy cycling. She's gonna be doing insane amounts of damage, right? And one more thing I wanted to mention about Thief when it comes to bosses, right? One thing, by the way, for bosses, especially for single target units, you want to be using an Awaken skill rather than Blossom, right? You use Blossom when you have to deal with multiple enemies. For single target enemies, you want to be using her Awaken skill, because that one does ignore defense, I believe, a bit more, if I remember correctly, and it will end up in much higher damage, right? Now, cool thing I wanted to mention about Thief, look how much she is jumping behind the boss. So she jumps behind the boss instantly starts focusing on her, it keeps your other ally safe. Right when the boss is about to attack, she jumps behind him again, joining your support. Look at this, attack is coming in, Thief would have been dead. What she does, she jumps to the back line, she jumps behind the boss, she does not take damage. Look at this, boss is focusing on her, she switches again. And if you can keep doing this, especially what I love about this with units like Thief or Rachel, is they can avoid a lot of attacks and not only avoid taking damage themselves, but keeping your whole team safe. Well, look at this, everyone's dead, Thief last second leaves the circle, and because of that she will be able to get another ultimate off, and because of that the boss is not able to hit her, she's gonna get another ultimate off. I mean, how amazing is that? And I believe there is, yes, another ultimate off, believe it or not. Like, look how much energy recharge I have. And what's that? It's another ultimate off. Yeah, she did 28 million damage by herself. So yeah, even if you have a thief, you don't really need any other damage dealers. She is able to just do damage, so look at that. Yeah, I mean, thief. Oof. And the cool thing is, doesn't even need that much investment. Like, the moment I got her, right, she wasn't even evolved that much. The moment I got her, my story mode progression jumped by, I believe, 2 sectors instantly, right? 2 to 3, I don't quite remember. I was a bit on the lower side by then, but I think I was like somewhere around sector 18 to 19 by the time I built her. And she instantly boosted me by like 2 to 3 sectors, so yeah, it's a massive boost. For this one, I'm just setting up my regular team, so this is what I usually use for the guild boss, right? This is pretty much like my main team for majority of the stuff, so I don't bother changing it much. We're gonna see how she compares with Rachel. I do have Rachel on a similar strength build as Thief, both of them are at level 220. So they are able to compete with each other on terms of damage, and usually when it comes to single target bosses, Rachel will outdamage the Thief a little bit, but that's quite normal because Rachel is sort of like a very single target focused unit, whereas Thief is also able to do a lot of that AoE damage when it comes to her Blossom skills, right? So yeah, I'm just gonna let this one play out. Apart from that, I'm gonna be signing off. To answer your question, if you should summon the Thief, the answer is an overwhelming yes. And not only should you summon her, you should summon at least multiple copies. This video is definitely not sponsored by Contours. Don't even think about it. I just have to say, like, I cannot even lie, Thief is a straight up broken unit. Just a straight up extremely broken unit that will absolutely boost your progress by, I don't know, miles, honestly. But yeah, that's about it. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you are summoning Thief and how many copies you are planning to summon. And yeah, peace.